Germination. What is germination? The process of giving rise to a new plant from a seed is called germination. So what we are going to look at, what is germination? Germination. The process of giving rise to a new plant. A new plant from a seed. The process of giving rise to a new plant from a seed is called germination. Now, a baby plant is called a seedling. What is a baby plant called? Seedling. A baby plant. A baby plant is called a seedling. Seedling. Seedling grows into sapling and sapling grows into a plant. So what happened to seedling? Seedling grows into sapling. And sapling grows into plant. So what is germination? Germination is the process of giving rise to a new plant from the seed. That's called germination. A baby plant is called seedling, and seedling grows into is called sapling. A seedling grows into a sapling, and sapling into a new plant. Now we are going to look at different types of plants around in different habitats. Let's look at different types of plants. Different types of plants. We are looking at different types of plants found in different habitat. That's what we are going to look at now. Different types of plants in different habitats. First we are going to look at is number 1, terrestrial plant. Terrestrial. What are terrestrial plants? All right. So we are going to first look at a terrestrial plant. What is a terrestrial plant? Plants that grow on land are called terrestrial plants. So these are plants that grow on land. Anyway you find, they are terrestrial plants. For example, banyan tree, rose plant, etc. Example, banyan. Banyan tree, rose plant. They are examples of terrestrial plants. What about grass? Grass is also a terrestrial plant. Next, this is the first one. Next we have mountain terrestrial plant. Then we have mountain plants. Mountain. What a mountain plant. Mountain plants that grow on mountain. Plants that grow on the mountain. So plants that grow on mountain. That grow on mountains. They are called mountain plants. Rocky mountain maple, pine tree, they are examples of mountain plants. So give us examples of mountain plants. Pine tree, maple tree, they are examples of mountain plants. Next we have desert plants. What are desert plants? Plants that grow in the desert. Okay? Like examples, cactus grow in the desert because there's very little water and it's very hot. So cactus grow here and they need very little water. Little water. In the desert, no rain, so cactus doesn't need much water, so they grow. Now, desert plants need not be given much water. Finger cactus, star cactus, they are the main plants that grow in the desert. Now, there are some interesting facts about the plants. They say roots of banyan tree. Now, banyan is a terrestrial plant. What about their roots? The roots of the banyan tree help to support the plant. You might have seen roots coming from the branches all over. Finally, the banyan looks a very huge tree with lots of pillar-like structures which are really roots. Now, pine. Pine is supposed to be a mountain type of plant. What about the pine? The pines have leaves shaped like needles and that remain on the tree throughout the year. The mountains, there are pine trees and they have the leaves long and they remain green throughout the year. Now, sugar, black and red maples. The maple trees are again mountain trees. They are important for syrup production. So maple tree, from the maple tree, they get some type of syrup. Next, we looked at so far terrestrial plants that are growing on the land, mountain plants and desert plants. Now let's look at number 2, aquatic plants. The plants grow in the water. So number 2, we are looking at aquatic plants that grow in the water. The plants that grow in the water are called aquatic. These aquatic plants are of 3 types. We have 3 types of them. 3 types of them. 1, you have floating plants. So what are the 3 types? A, floating plants. Floating plants like hyacinth, water hyacinth. Water hyacinth is the first type. Next we have fixed plants like lotus. Fixed plants. Example, lotus. And the third type we have is the submerged plants like hydrilla. Submerged plants like hydrilla. That's about the aquatic. Next, let's look at something interesting about this aquatic plants such as water lily, stargrass. They have plenty of sunlight. They require, although they are in the water, they need the water lily and stargrass, they need plenty of sunlight. So the aquatic plants need lots of sunlight. Next, the aquatic plants can have roots in the mud and also can have submerged leaves or in the mud or floating leaves. Those are the three things that we want. There are floating plants like hyacinth, there are fixed ones like lotus, submerged plants like the hydrilla. And all of them need lots of sunlight. All right. There are interesting facts about potatoes also. They say potatoes were cultivated 7,000 years ago in Peru. Then they talk about strawberry, that's the only fruit that bears its seed outside the fruit. Right? Now, let's look at all what we have here. We are talking about germination. What is germination? That is, germination is the process of giving rise to a new plant from a seed. And the baby plant is called seedling. And seedling grows into sapling. And finally, the sapling produces a new plant. Next, there are different types of plants living in different habitat. Right? First, let's look at the terrestrial plants that grow on land. Banyan tree and rose plant, grass, they are all examples of terrestrial plants. Plants that grow around where you live. In the terrestrial, we have mountain plants that grow on the mountains. Examples are pine trees, maple trees. Next, we have desert plants that grow in the desert like cactus, which need very little water to survive. Next, we are going to look at aquatic plants, plants that grow in the water. There are three types. First, floating plants like water hyacinth, fixed plants like lotus, and submerged plants like hydrilla. All of these plants, water plants, they need a lot of sunlight.